Sergeant Preston of the Northwest Mounted Police with Yukon King, swiftest and strongest lead dog breaking the trail in the relentless pursuit of lawbreakers in the wild days of the Yukon. Back to the days of the gold rush as Sergeant Preston with his wonder dog Yukon King meets the challenge of the Yukon. This is the Yukon in Arctic winter, the territory patrolled by Sergeant Preston, where even the agonizing cold failed to halt the feverish search for gold. Mule Creek, collection and shipping point for mined gold in the wild North Fork country. Severe storms had for several months prevented the movement of any gold shipments south to Dawson. As the winter blizzards abated, Windy Brown, owner of the Faith Mine, met his mine superintendent, Jamie McAllister, by pre-arrangement the day the gold was to be hauled to Dawson.
Morning, Dillon.
Oh, morning, Windy.
Where's the sled, man? Surely you're not expecting to take the gold out on your back, even though it is only about 3,000 this trip.
With all the scallywags loose about, waiting like hungry wolves to pounce upon the unsuspecting? Indeed not, McAllister. Even a man of my fortitude and fistic prowess is not that foolhardy. No, sir. I've got other plans.
And what's that?
I'm, getting police protection. Sergeant Preston will be along any day now to take the gold shipment south.
A guard for a mere 3,000 in gold? Man, you and Preston must both be daft.
Well, the sergeant doesn't know the shipment's a small one. There's a rumor in Dawson that the shipment will be worth over $100,000. I saw no reason to enlighten Sergeant Preston or anyone else.
And no mystery who started that rumor.
You've known for months the mine stopped producing as it used to. In spite of which, you've been grubsticking every hard-luck prospector in the Yukon, making bad investments, and generally acting the fool.
Yeah, even $500,000 won't last long at that rate. And you're practically broke right now.
In heaven's name, Windy, why'd you tell people you were sending $100,000 to Dawson?
I couldn't bear to tell Martha the truth. My success means so much to her. And then one story sort of led to another, I guess, and...
The sad facts are bound to come to light eventually. Don't you ever learn, Windy?
Oh, we'll find another rich deposit yet. In the meantime, what's the harm in stretching the truth a bit to keep Martha happy, huh?
I'll tell you. Filing a false request with the police, that's what. I'd hate to be in your shoes when Sergeant Preston finds out.
Well, why does he have to know? Rocks and express box will make up the weight. That is, if you two cooperate. Banker Miggs in Dawson's my friend. He's promised to help. How about it, Mac?
I do not like it, Windy. But for Martha's sake...
And you, Dillon, old friend?
Yeah, old friend I am now, eh? Well, we'll just skip that. I don't want to risk my position with the express company here. However, I'll do one thing for Martha. Unless anybody asks me a direct question, I'll volunteer no information, but that's all.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Even as Windy Brown left Mule Creek to return to his home in Hunker, Sergeant Preston and his great dog King sped along the trail out of Dawson to meet him. Unknown to Preston, danger awaited him farther down trail, in the persons of Paddy Lambert and Ray Keene, two trappers down on their luck, who had taken to robbery to replenish their purse.
How much longer are we going to be perched here? I'm freezing.
Until we get back our grub stick that you gambled away. It's the first day in weeks the trail's been open. Someone's bound to come along with a fat pocketbook.
But why gun him down? Why not just stick him up on the trail?
Because I'm taking no chances of being recognized. There are too many in Dawson who know us.
Well, I don't know.
Shut up. Listen.
Someone's coming.
Get ready. I see him, coming from Dawson. Remember, don't shoot till they hit the peak of the ridge. Hold it!
Had that sourdough right in my sights.
That's not a sourdough, it's a Mountie. I caught a glimpse of his britches.
Holy smoke. Now we're in for it. What'll we do?
Wait a minute. He didn't get a chance to see us before he spilled.
But he'll be coming up here looking for us now. I'm getting out of here.
So am I. But not the way you think. Here, give me that rifle.
What are you doing? You might at least tell me what we're going to do.
We're using strategy. The best defense is always attack.
Talk sense, will you?
I am talking sense. We're mushing back down trail to offer that Mountie our help.
You're crazy.
Sure, I'm crazy like a fox. You'd try to run away from him, wouldn't you?
Well, naturally.
And that's just what he'd expect you to do. So we don't. We fool him. Come on.
And it might take days to track down the marksman. We have to get on to Hunkers. We can check on this rifle later. Come on, King. Well, we'll be lucky if we get to Hunkers tonight.
Ho! Hey, you need any help?
Well, thanks. That's the last of it.
Well, looks like a bad accident, officer. You all right?
Oh, I'm fine. But it was no accident. Someone took a shot at me.
Oh?
Where are you men from?
Well, you can see for yourself, Dawson. You don't think that we...
You mind holding out your right hands?
What was that for?
Well, if either of you fired the rifle I just found on the hill, the odor of powder would still be on your hands. Quiet, King. Where are your manners? I'm Sergeant Preston. There is something you can do for me. You going by the way of Hunker?
Sure, right past the place. We're heading for Keno Hill. You name it, Sergeant.
Well, I'm due at Martha Brown's and Hunker's for supper. You stop by and tell her I'll be late and not to wait for me?
Certainly. You sure there's nothing else?
No, thanks, that's all. But here's a tip for you, though. Martha Brown's the best cook in the Yukon, and very hospitable. If she should ask you to stay for supper, accept.
Well, that sounds good to me.
Right, Sergeant.
See you, Sergeant.
So long.
Right!
Don't like them, huh, fella? We'll check on them later if we have time. That's why I suggested the layover in Hunkers till we got there. That should satisfy you, shouldn't it? We've got work to do.
Oh, that must be Sergeant Preston and King. You're just in...
Are you Mrs. Brown, ma'am?
Why, yes. I thought you were...
Sergeant Preston?
Yes.
We have a message from him.
Oh, well, won't you come in, both of you?
My name is Lambert. This is my partner, Ray Keene.
Oh, well, any friend of the sergeant's is a friend of ours. But what's delayed him?
He had a slight accident, ma'am.
Oh,
Nothing serious, Mrs. Brown. His sled turned over on the trail and broke a runner. He asked us to tell you not to wait supper for him. He wasn't hurt.
that's one consolation. Supper's ready to put on the table. Won't you two men join Bill and me? I'll keep something warm for the sergeant.
You bet we'd...
We wouldn't want to impose on you, ma'am.
I love company. I used to run the best boarding house in the Yukon before Bill struck gold. So it'll be like old times. Now, you just hang up your duds, and Bill will show you where to wash up. Bill! Bill! We've got company. He'll be right out. Now, I'll get things on the table.
Pow! All of a sudden, nothing but gold. Thousands, hundreds of thousands.
Bill, aren't you exaggerating just a mite?
Exaggerating, my dear. How can you say that when you know there's a $100,000 shipment waiting in Mule Creek right now for Sergeant Preston to convey to Dawson?
Did you say $100,000?
A mere bagatelle, Mr. Lambert, a mere bagatelle.
Well, I hope the sergeant brings plenty of men with him. That's a lot of gold to be carrying about with all the crooks loose in this area.
I guess you don't know much about Sergeant Preston, Mr. Lambert, but he and King, that big dog of his, are worth 50 ordinary men. Why, he'll bring that gold shipment in safely, yes, sir, safely and alone.
Bill, you're keeping these poor men from eating their supper.
Oh, no, ma'am. We're doing fine. Aren't we, Lambert?
Yes, indeed.
I do hope you'll visit us soon again.
Thank you, ma'am. We will.
And that's the best meal I ever ate, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.
Well, goodbye, fellas.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Take it easy.
Oh, Billington Brown, I'm ashamed of you bragging like that. You know Sergeant Preston warned you never to tell anyone when a gold shipment was going out from the mine. And there's something suspicious about those two men leaving like that.
Oh, Martha, you're being unreasonable. That fellow Lambert had a good reason for going on. And I did no harm.
I'm afraid Sergeant Preston wouldn't agree with you.
Well, you mustn't tell him what I said.
Well...
Promise me, Martha?
What's this all about? You turned down a warm bed and a real breakfast for what?
Quiet. Here he comes.
Ho, King! Everybody down! Well, so far, so good. Keen, how'd you like to split 100,000 in gold 2 ways?
You asking me that?
That's just what we're gonna do, you and me. And Preston's gonna help us get it.
Well, how? What's your plan?
I'll tell you later, but there's more than one way of skinning a cat. And there's more than one way of getting rid of a Mountie.
After a restful night at Martha's place, Preston continued up the trail to Mule Creek. Martha kept her word to Windy, saying nothing to Preston about his table conversation with Lambert and Keene the previous evening. All Preston knew was that the 2 men had acted on his request and carried his message to Hunker. Now Preston concentrated on the job ahead, but Martha had not forgotten.
Bill, I had no right to make you that promise last night.
Promise? What promise?
Now, you know very well what promise, Billington Brown. The things you were telling our 2 guests. Sergeant Preston should have been informed, and you know it.
Oh, bother, Martha. You're making a great deal over nothing.
Now, I don't happen to think so. And I think that you should do something about it. I want you to go after the sergeant and tell him the whole story.
What? Hike all the way back up to Mule Creek again? Besides, I'd never catch him. He's got a dog team, and all I've got snowshoes. You're not serious, are you?
Yes, I am serious. It wouldn't matter whether you caught him on the trip up, but if any harm to come to him because of the information that you've given out, it'd probably be on the return trip from Mule Creek.
You really mean it, don't you?
Yes, I do. I don't care about the gold, but Sergeant Preston and King, well, they're our very best friends. And now with your bragging, you may have put them in danger.
You're right, as usual.
Oh.
I'll start off right away.
Oh, Bill, I knew you wouldn't let me down. Thanks. Now, you be careful, won't you, darling?
Of course, Ted.
Bill.
Meanwhile, Lambert and Keene had found an abandoned shack not far off the Mule Creek Trail, about halfway from Hunker.
When are you going to do some work around here? I'm tired, need a rest.
You'll get plenty of rest. If things go right, I'll be doing all the work from here on out.
And that's another thing. What's the big idea of keeping this plan of yours such a deep secret?
All right. Sit down and keep quiet. I'll probably have to tell this fast because we don't have much time to spare now.
Well, let's have it.
Preston will be along the trail soon. I'm going down there and stop him. Tell him you're real sick, broke a leg or something.
There's nothing the matter with me.
You can pretend there is, can't you? Crawl into that bunk, cover up and groan. Or is that too much of a strain on your mind?
Sure, I can do that.
All right. So you're bad off, see, and we've no first aid kit. I bring Preston up here to help you, and we clobber him.
Well, what good would that do? He won't have the gold yet.
Will you shut up and listen? He's not picking up the gold. I am in his uniform. I'm taking his place.
Oh, well, that sounds good. Then what?
You stay here and guard the Mountie till I get back. Then we line out across the hills for that cave we found on the Blackstone River. Hide the gold there until things cool down, and then we're in clover.
Boy, that's for me. But what would happen to Preston?
We dump him. Dog, sled, and all through the river ice. Is it our fault he's got no better sense than to try to mush across where the ice is thin? Accidental death.
Oh, I don't know, Lambert. Up to that point, it sounds
You
good.
want half of the gold, or don't you?
Well, sure I do. I'm with
All
you.
right. Take off your coat and shirt and climb into that bunk. And when you hear us coming, groan loud. You understand?
Sure. Like you never heard.
Hey there, hold on. Oh! Well, Sergeant Preston, I wasn't expecting to see you again so soon.
Well, I knew you were on the trail ahead of me, Lambert. I've been following your sled tracks all the way. Rather a long way to Keno Hill, isn't it?
Keno Hill?
Well, yesterday you said that's where you were going.
Oh, yeah, sure. But Keene and I are looking for new trapping grounds. We decided the North Fork country might be less crowded.
Where is Keene and your outfit?
Well, that's why I'm here on the trail, about Keene, I mean. He slipped on the ice and broke his leg. We found an abandoned shack near here, but we've no first aid kit and he's in bad pain. I was going for help.
Well, I'll do what I can to help him.
Oh!
Now, King, be quiet. Only be a few minutes.
My leg. Hurry, please.
All right, take it easy. I'll give you a sedative tablet, then put your leg in a temporary splint.
All right, help me get this uniform off of him before those blasted dogs out there tip off someone on the trail.
Lambert, what if somebody comes along?
Keep them out. Tell them you've got smallpox, anything, but keep them out of here.
Okay, leave it to me. How long will you be?
Oh, a few hours without trouble, and I don't expect any. Now, you just sit tight.
That Lambert sure can do anything. Even to fooling a Mountie. And that takes a lot of fooling. Well, that critter's gone. Good riddance.
Well, King, what are you doing here alone? Where's Sergeant Preston, huh? Why, you've broken your harness. What's the matter? Is your master in trouble, boy? Huh. You're trying to tell me something's wrong and wants to take me where it happened, is that it? That's it, all right. Well, you just lead the way for your Uncle Windy and everything will be hunky-dory. Yes, sir.
Oh, King!
Now, you listen to me, Emma Dillon. You made a promise to Windy, and you're not going to back out on it.
I did no such thing. I only said that I would... Good afternoon, officer. What may I do for you?
You're the express agent here?
That's me, Emil Dillon. I own the place.
I've been sent to pick up a gold shipment from the Faith Mine. Is it ready?
Why, yes, it is, but,
The fact is, we were expecting Sergeant Preston. What happened to him?
Well, he went to Whitehorse on a murder case. The inspector sent me in his place. I'm Sergeant Brennan.
McAllister here, mine superintendent. You're new in this district, aren't you?
That's right. Recently transferred from Edmonton. Now, about this gold shipment.
well, as I said, it's ready for you. But, I think there's one thing that you should know first.
You made a promise, Dillon.
Oh, your own roll, McAllister. That shipment ain't all it's cracked up to be.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it ain't all that Windy Brown made it out for. There's only 3,000 in that box, the rest is rocks. Just rocks.
What? Why, that dirty old...
Why should you be so upset, Sergeant?
Well, it's just that this Mr. Brown has requested an escort for his gold shipment under false pretenses. I'll have to make an official report.
Maybe I'd best go along with you then, to stay out of things a bit, eh?
Well, that won't be necessary, Mr. McAllister.
You object then?
No, it's not exactly that.
Then it's all settled. Get the box out, Mr. Dillon. I'm keeping the sergeant company to Dawsontown. As soon as we toss out all the rocks in the shipment.
When he reached the cabin, Windy knew something strange had occurred. 2 fresh sled trails led toward Mule Creek. Preston's dogs and sled were still there. Why had King run for help? Windy devised a way to find out. He wanted to lure the occupant of the shack out into the open. If it were Preston, unharmed, then there would be no problems. But if it were someone King had reason to dislike, that would be another matter.
Help! 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 Get him up! Down, King. Good boy. All right, on your feet, King. Get him off! See what kind of skullduggery you've been into. Now, come on, get in here.
Have a good trip, Mac. Take care of everything.
I will. Take care of everything you
All right.
Lambert was to contact you here after stealing the gold, then disposing of my team and me before hiding out. Is that right?
That's it. But I wouldn't let him kill you, Sergeant.
Personally, I think he's making a fool out of you, Keene. He probably intends leaving you here to face the music alone.
Double-crosser. Sergeant, there's something else I want to tell you. It was Lambert. He made me shoot at you in the Dawson Trail yesterday.
Well, I figured that out. When you went after Wendy, you drew your gun with your left hand. If I'd examined your left hand yesterday, I'd have smelled the gunpowder, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Well, I'll never make that mistake again.
Well, I never. Huh, think of that.
Wendy, I'll need that gun. Stout piece of wood should do to guard this man while King and I go after Lambert. And don't take your eyes off of him either.
Wish I could go along.
Well, you've done enough for one day. I'm greatly indebted to you now. Come on, King.
And I'll need that goodwill when Preston finds out about that small shipment.
Hold it, Lambert! Hold up! Get him! Hold it, Lambert! Hey, King, come back here. Just on those rocks.
Man, you might have warned the body first. I thought you were a trail robber.
I didn't expect to find you with a crook either, Mac. He's no Mountie. He's wearing my uniform.
I suspected something, Sergeant. That's why I came along. But now I helped him escape. Better I had minded my own business.
Well, there's no time to explain now. Take the shipment on to the old Mercer cabin and wait for us there. You'll find Wendy inside, and he'll give you a full account, I'm sure.
All right.
Come on, King.
No, King, stay there. I'll handle this. On your feet, Lambert. And on your way. I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. I'm going to Louisiana for my true love for to see. May we come in?
Hello, Sergeant.
Well, I knocked, but no one seemed to hear me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sergeant. Won't you join us?
And I'm afraid your husband's going to sing a different tune, Martha.
You, found out about the gold shipment.
Bill, what do you mean?
He means he falsified the amount of the gold shipment, so you wouldn't know we're going broke, Mrs. B.
Oh, Bill, why? Why? I told you I'd be happier living like we used to. A house full of happy and contented people is worth more than all the gold in the Yukon, Bill.
Just can't help telling tall tales, I guess. What'll they do to me, Sergeant?
Well, because of the circumstances, the inspectors agreed to put you on probation. This is one time we'd have never trapped Lambert and Keene if you hadn't exaggerated your wealth, Wendy. They confessed to other robberies, and they're both safe in the Dawson jail awaiting trial.
Thank goodness for that, but what does this probation mean?
No more tall tales for a year.
I promise I won't open my mouth again.
And he's in your custody, Martha.
As far as going broke is concerned, I think I know where there's a stream with nuggets as big as...
Billington.
Here we go again.
Well, one thing is certainly true, King.
This case is closed.